is another wonderful Wednesday night sports delight because this is ladies' night. Oh, and shout out to our favorite viewer. Hi, Miss Williams.
Miss Williams.
Brought to you by none other than Smoooth.
That's whenever you see Joanne and not Joe.
Oh, the alter ego.
Well, now.
Look, I would have had this on if I had known it was going to be that kind of party, but apparently.
So, I mean, and that's just my one excuse to look silly on the sidelines, and I'm totally okay with it because I'm doing my job.
All right, Coach Willis. Well, speaking of
new football fans, you got the Swifties that are all about football, and Travis Kelce's Instagram, I think his followers went up 300,000+.
Tell y'all, when you get on this show on the Ladies Night, boy, I tell you, you are bringing people's careers to a whole nother level. I'm telling you. So here.
Everyone, welcome to the Platform Sports Talk Show. It's your girl, Buddy. I'm glad y'all are here to join us for another wonderful evening.
And want the teams that want you back, St. Louis. I want that football.
I was like, well, Brandon, does Michelle Smallman text you at 11:45 at night?
Let them know, right? No matter the time, it came through, right?
Yes, I thought that was really dope.
She seems to cause a buzz because you know what? Bad publicity, good publicity, they're talking about it.
So for some of these guys, they're like, even if I do win, it's not going to be enough for some people. So why don't I just go ahead and get the money?
Living the dream. I think all the time. I'm a dream catcher, right? So I chased the dream and I caught it.
Because I took this crazy leap of faith in May of 2011 at 23 years old to buy a basketball team. And everyone thought I had lost my mind.
Just kind of shed light, like, women coaches, like, hey, we bring it too. We bring it.
What is up, everybody? I know this is different. Happy Wednesday. Happy Ladies Night. It's not Bunny. It's Joe. Or like my husband says, be Sugar Mama. He does that all the time. But happy Wednesday. It's going to be a little bit different this time. It's going to be me and one of our other panelists. Oh, sorry. You know what, Fred? I was watching that video you just posted of Sister Act 2 cast, and it just started playing, and it made me very happy to get the show started. But yeah, it is Ladies Night, and it's weird. I know it's Ladies Night, and we usually just talk about just all kinds of sports, but we have a lot of actual lady sports to talk about tonight, so that's very exciting. And I'm just gonna go ahead and bring on our other panelists right now. Annie, what up?
Hey, everybody. How's it going, Joe?
It is going pretty good. I was just telling Smooth before the show that vacation's like 2 weeks away, not even. So I'm excited.
Going anywhere fun?
Just Pensacola again, but I mean, it's the beach. I'm excited. I'm excited for my daughter to actually know what's going on this time, because last time she did not like the sand and the ocean. We spent most of it inside, so I'm excited, hopefully she likes it this time.
Okay. Have you been prepping her, but getting her some play sand,
so
dunking her in the bathtub or something? Just getting exposure therapy or something?
Well, she is right now at her friend's house. They do have a sand pit that they like to play in. But over Memorial Day weekend. Wow, I just went 3 months in advance. Memorial Day weekend, we did go swimming a lot. We got her one of those floaties that's up here on the chest and goes on your arms. She's not a big fan, so I'm a little nervous, but she's got to get over it. I'm going to spend my time on the beach this time.
Well, we'll send positive beach vibes her way, that she catches the spirit and wants to beach.
Yeah, she needs it. And I don't know. So I just been trying to show her videos, and there's a Bluey episode of them on the beach. So hopefully that gets her a little more excited. But what's going on with you? How's life been? We haven't seen you in a little bit.
Yeah, life's been lifing. Just work, travel for work, travel for fun. So I'm ready to not travel for a while. My goal is to stay in my house for a couple months, if possible, but then I'll be out again in September for sure. So I'm trying to, my summer wish is to stay in the house I pay for. That's what I want to do this summer, is stay put. So, oh, but I am going to Clearwater in 2 weeks, but that's not fun. That's like 3 hours away.
I'm about to say
go
you
to
are
the
in
beach as
Florida
well.
somewhere. Are you close to a beach where you're at?
Everywhere's close to a beach. I live like 20 minutes from Jack's Beach.
Do you go a lot?
I've never been.
Never been to a beach? I'd be at the beach.
I've
all
never
the
been to Jack's Beach. I've
Oh,
been to other beaches in Florida.
I
But
was
that's
like,
one
oh.
that's like 20 minutes away from me. I mean, I guess when you live in a state that has a lot of, that's like on the coast, that you get a little persnickety about like beaches. And so I'm like, this is a regular beach. Why would I go to a regular beach when we've got like white sand beaches 3 hours away? So I'm like, Jacksonville Beach, I'm not going there. So yeah.
Yeah, I've never even heard of Jacksonville Beach, so
Exactly.
I get it.
It's not a destination. It's a beach.
Yeah.
But you know.
I don't know. I'm just so excited. We try to go every other year somewhere, and I need it. I'm excited. I'm ready to just wake up and drink and have a good time.
Nice. Love that for you.
Where have you traveled to recently for job and just other stuff?
Ooh, let's see. So far this year, we're now at the halfway point of 2024. I've been to Seattle. I went to the Virgin Islands for my birthday. So I went to all 3 islands in the Virgin Islands. Just got back from Denver 2 weeks ago. I went to Arizona earlier this year. That may be it. I mean, I came to St. Louis for my niece's birthday a couple months ago in March. So yeah, it's been a lot of traveling. And then in the second half of the year, I have to go to Montana and I have to go to DC. I'm going to Niagara Falls. And then I'll probably try to hit up somewhere else while I'm out in Montana, like maybe go to like the Grand Tetons or Yellowstone or something like that while I'm out there. So I'll end up in Wyoming.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people I've heard a lot of good things about Montana. It's just beautiful. So that's definitely on a bucket list. So I'm jealous. And so before we get started on all of our topics, let's go ahead and get the promos going right now. As you guys know, this is Ladies Night, the first Wednesday every month. You can find us on Instagram at the Platform Sports Talk, on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can go ahead and shoot us an email at platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. Roku and Hot 365 Radio. If you want, you can also, this is the big one, on YouTube. Follow us at the Platform Sports Talk Show and make sure you subscribe and click on that bell, because anytime we go live, you guys will be notified. Every other Wednesday of the month, we do have, the middle Wednesdays is just, you get to see Smooth's face. He joins in on the topics, and Bunny and everyone. And then the last Wednesday of every month is the Man Cave. That's whenever we got Sadal, T-Bone, Stanton, Greg Black, all of them. So, and it was nice to actually see T-Bone, Mario. Sorry about that. But it was nice to see T-Bone on the regular show a couple of weeks ago. That was different. So hopefully school's going well for him and he can join the regular show more often. And on Hot 365 Radio, where it's always hot, and that is also on Twitch, which sometimes I get those alerts on Twitch, and I like that. I like going on Twitch and watching that. So sometimes I'll view the Man Cave on that one. All right. So let's start with some of our topics. Annie, with Ladies Night, we got What's in My Cup. I got a couple of them, so I'll let you go first. What's in your cup?
Well, first, hi, Miss Williams.
Hi, Miss Williams.
Good to be with you again. What's in my cup? So literally, we've got some Gatorade. Because it's a sports talk show, right? So I suppose you have to have Gatorade to go with it. Actually, it's just the first thing I grabbed out of my fridge. Let's see. Oh, before I forget, my dad wants everyone to know that Russell Wilson is taking the Steelers to the Super Bowl this year. So he texted me the other day and told me next time I was on the show to make sure to share that prognostication with all of you in case you're into sports betting and you don't play a professional sport. Seems like nowadays you need to make that explicitly clear that you don't actually play the sport that you're betting on. We may talk about that later in the show. But if you're not currently a professional athlete, my dad says put your money on the Steelers going to the Super Bowl. But I am just taking in the WNBA, which has been really fun. The games have been really fun. Watching gymnastics. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. That's really been the week, given this week break that we have before the NBA finals start tomorrow. So lots of good stuff in the sports world going on, and a couple other neat things that I'll share in another segment. So yeah.
Okay, cool. And what is the reasoning to your dad thinking the Steelers with Russell Wilson will win the Super Bowl? Because Russell Wilson did not look too hot when he was wearing the orange and blue.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Even though I did not adopt my dad's sports team, I got my irrational confidence in my football team from my dad. So it's just an unwavering belief that at any time Tomlin can figure it out, that the Rooneys will do whatever the Rooneys need to do, and that the waters will part for the Steelers to make it to the Super Bowl. He just believes no matter what the situation, that everything's going to come up Steelers. I don't know why he's so sure that Russell Wilson will even get the starting job. From some early word coming out of like camp, which right now they're in OTAs, which are optional team activities, before the mandatory mini camp comes up. There's some reports coming out that like Justin Fields has been like rivaling his level of Russell Wilson's level of play. So I think we don't even know for sure that Russell Wilson is going to be the starter, let alone what this offense is going to look like. And can the Steelers even not place fourth in their division, which is where I would put them right now in the AFC North. So
I wonder if you get the confidence from your dad when it comes to your sports teams. Like, is this something he says every year? Like the Steelers are gonna win it, and then if you just keep saying it and it happens, then you were right. You knew it was gonna happen.
He says the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl all year, every year, and the same way that every time I come on the show, I'm like, the Pirates are going to win the pennant. Like one day I'm going to be right.
One day it will happen.
It will.
Right now they're beating the Dodgers 7-3. That's a good team right there.
Look at that. We beat Toronto the other night in Toronto. Like, I know I say this, but I really think it might happen this year, y'all. I think the Pirates might win the pennant. And I think that's not a joke.
Hold on. Let me pull up the standings. Let me pull them up.
Pull them up. Because it doesn't matter where we are right now. What matters is where we end. And
all right.
We'll
they're
end
last.
Holding the Larry Brown trophy.
They're in last, but I mean, they're only a game worse than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are in third, but crazier things have happened, I guess.
We're just getting warmed up. So we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting to the point that, like we talk about a lot on this show, It's not really early anymore. It's June 5th. It's usually by Flag Day. That's what Claiborne says on the radio, that you know what you are. You're either a winner or a loser. You're probably going to be competing or not. And we're coming up on that. But yeah, there's the standings right now. It's crazy that just about every second place team, besides the Cubs right now, because the Brewers have lost 2, possibly 3 in a row now, I think. But everyone's like 7 games back in their division. So, and I think technically the Cardinals might be in a wild card. I can't remember. It might have updated since they lost 2 in Houston. But I mean, I don't know. Crazier things have happened, you know. Teams have been 10 back in August and September, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is the dog days of summer where, we've made some changes. And we just got to play hard. We got to put it all together. We just need some more practice under our belt, build some confidence. And then come September, you're going to look up and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, Pirates are in first. And you'll be like, Amy was right. Let me get to my nearest betting app. Put a mortgage down on the Pirates winning the pennant.
Oh my God. You know what though? So we can do something about this, because whenever me and Smoooth did our predictions for the year, he said that he thinks the Angels will make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I said if the Angels make the playoffs, I will wear Cubs gear on a show. So, and that would hurt me terribly to do that on a platform such as the Platform Sports Talk Show. But if the Pirates make the playoffs, I think my hubby has a Buccos hat. I'll wear a Buccos hat on the
I will
show.
send you one. I will send everybody a hat. If the Pirates make the playoffs, I will send everybody a Pittsburgh hat from Pittsburgh. I will fly to Pittsburgh. I will get hats, and then I will send them to everyone.
Okay.
And Miss Williams.
And Miss Dubs, right. All right, Smoooth. June 5th, 7/18 timestamp. All right, so let's see. My cup's full right now. It is full. As you guys know, this goes in with sports as well. We only got one of these bad boys left, and then if I need to, we got a Busch Cold and Smooth. I said I wasn't gonna drink beer this week, but it's a sports talk show. I have to. Anyways, there's so many things going on. I'm going to save the gambling thing for last, since you mentioned it already. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Those start this Saturday. It's going to be Connor McDavid versus Matthew Tkachuk. The Oilers versus the Panthers. I am very, very pumped for this series. We finally get to see the great one, the chosen one, Connor McDavid in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I honestly don't even know how they won that last game, because they won it with like 10 shots on net. And the Stars had like 40. So their goalie stood on his head and he blocked everything. But yeah, this is going to be exciting. I want to see Connor McDavid hoist the Stanley Cup. But then you also have Matthew Tkachuk, who he's from St. Louis. The Cup was going to be in St. Louis again if that happens. And I know we're going to talk about the NBA Finals later on as well, but back-to-back years, you're going to have 2 hometown kids that went to Chaminade playing in the finals, and hopefully they both, bring it back. It'd be cool if they had some big old party, some big ass party in St. Louis with the cup and what do they call the trophy in basketball?
In basketball?
Yeah, the championship trophy. Do they have a name for it? No?
Totally blanking. Yeah, the
Larry O'Brien. Okay. So that'd be cool. But yeah, I'm excited for this one, and that's something else I always like when we go on vacation. We're always on the beach when there's a Stanley Cup playoff game going on, so something to sit back and relax and watch at night when we're there. But yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Tarasenko, he's on the Panthers as well, so he has a chance to win another cup. And if the Oilers win, Edmonton might burn down, but it will be cool.
will be a blaze of glory for sure.
It's been 30 plus years since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. So I don't know.
It
It's
might burn
pretty
either
big.
way. They might burn it down if they win. They
Yeah.
might burn it down if they lose.
Probably, yeah. So I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's a cool story. You know, those are two of the game's top players right there, and it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a really good battle, and I hope it goes 7 and fights galore and glove saves and checks, everything. I just hope it's a great series, and yeah, I'm excited for it. We're gonna have a little watch party on Saturday for game 1.
But who are you picking?
I'm picking the Panthers. So I think I told Smoooth this in the chat. So by next week, I'm going to try to find the video or possibly videos. I think that at the beginning of the year, I said this was going to be the battle, or maybe I said it was going to be a complete rematch of last year, but then the Panthers win. I think that's what I might have said before the NHL season started.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact I said it's going to be Panthers and Edmonton before the playoffs started. And I think I said Panthers are going to win that too. So I need to do some snippeting and looking back at videos so I can have my proof.
Definitely need to roll the tape.
Yeah, roll back the tape. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. Before I get to other baseball stuff that we were going to talk about, there's Scott Boras. He's an agent for baseball players.
Mm-hmm.
He's like for the agent for the biggest players in the game, and he had a lot of free agents this past off season, and two of them was Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. Blake Snell had just won the Cy Young last year, and Jordan Montgomery, we traded him to the Texas Rangers, and he ended up pitching his ass off and won a World Series. And they signed like weeks before spring training, I think it was, or even the regular season. But Blake Snell's been on the IL twice now, and Jordan Montgomery's got almost a 7 ERA. So the question is, because Jordan Montgomery already did fire Scott Boras, the question is they both said you need spring training. You had to have that to be prepared for the season to start. Is this on the players for not signing because you would think overall they have the last say? Or is it the blame on Scott Boras because he's constantly trying to get the most money out of for everyone, which as a player, you got to respect that. He's trying to get you paid. But, I mean, he was trying to tell us at the winter meetings that Cardinals shouldn't trade Tyler O'Neill because he had a really good year 3 years ago. He's really good of talking out his butt and trying to get his guys the most money or whatever, but sometimes it doesn't work out because I don't think these are the only two that this has happened to with him. So I don't know if it's the player's fault. Is it the market? A lot of guys went for not a lot of money that people think they should have, or is it Scott Boras' fault?
So I don't know how baseball contracts work, but I know like in the NFL, there was just a huge run on wide receiver contracts, like in the last week. And Christian McCaffrey got paid, reset the market. But they still had more than a year left on their current contracts. So it's not like they were expiring and were at risk of missing this current season. It was getting deals done before they got into the final year of their contract. And so, how does this agent's clients always end up in a position where they're even waiting until the last minute to negotiate rather than doing it a year before the contract ends? Or maybe that's just how baseball is structured. Educate me a little bit. How do their contract work?
So I know because in 2021 we traded for Montgomery when he was with the Yankees, and then 2022 or was it 2022? The year Albert was here. I don't even know. The years are combined all together now, but we had Jordan Montgomery last year, and there was talks that we were possibly going to do an extension with him during spring training, but nothing ever happened. And I don't know. I think you can do extensions in season if you want to, but 22 is whenever we traded for him then. You can do, but I don't know if there's after the trade deadline, you just can't do that now or what.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball has so many weird rules, but he could have signed an extension with, on his existing contract there, but going into this offseason, they were both free agents, and they didn't sign until spring training was happening. So I don't know. It's just again, this isn't the first time it's happened either. I mean, I know back in 2016, Dexter Fowler signed with the Cubs again during spring training. So it's just something that's happened. But I feel like with pitchers, batters and position players, it doesn't really matter. You do your tee work, everything's fine. But pitching, there's just a lot that goes into it, and these guys need these starts in spring training, their bullpens in spring training, learn their catchers and everything. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a both to blame. But Scott Boras, I mean, Jordan Montgomery's not the first one to fire him either because of something like this. So I think he's just getting a little greedy.
I don't know. I'm inclined, and I'm typically not a blame the player person. I think in this situation, I could imagine professional athletes being like, I got it. Like, get me the deal. And like always thinking that I think part of the irrational confidence you have to play professional sports at a high level is you have to play with an assumption that you are above the norm, right? And that even if this happened before, like, you're great, you're better than that pitcher was and all this other stuff. You can probably do it. You probably don't need all that. Like, so I'm inclined to believe that perhaps the players were like, I'll be good, just like work your magic or like do whatever it is that you're going to do kind of thing. Because at any point, they could sign their own contract. Like, he negotiates the contract, he doesn't sign it. And so at some point you could just go around him if you actually think he's taking too long. But I think they may have been willing to wait it out or convinced to wait it out, because you just have to have this irrational confidence when you're trading on your body for your living that like, this is never going to end. Regardless of how many times it's happened before, it's not going to happen to me. And I'm better, bigger, stronger, faster than everybody else. And so I'm going to be the exception. So I'm inclined to believe that that's what happened.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. And like, I know, I think it was Montgomery said he wanted like a 8 to 10 year contract. And I'm just, that's on him if that's the case, because pitchers don't get that these days. I think the last actual pitcher, not Shohei Ohtani, but pitcher that's gotten something like that might have been Garrett Cole for the Yankees. So pitchers, no one wants to pay pitchers that amount of money, because if you pay attention to baseball, there's been so many guys with Tommy John just this year. I mean, the Astros just lost 2 pitchers that are going to be done until 2026 for Tommy John surgery. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I can't blame teams for not wanting to spend that amount of money, for a guy that throws every 5th day and they're dropping like flies. But I don't know. I think it's kind of split down the middle, honestly, on who's to blame and baseball in general for the market. Because it's not just pitchers either. Like Matt Chapman, he signed with the Giants. I think he just got like a year with an option or something like that. So I don't know. Baseball has a lot to change, but sticking with baseball, you mentioned it earlier. We're going to talk about baseball and their gambling problem. I know it happened in basketball as well, but baseball, I feel like it's been more in our face, because obviously one of sports' biggest stars, Shohei Ohtani, his interpreter, Ibe Mazahari, I still to this day think something different, weird's going on with this. This was the fastest pled guilty plea ever, I feel like. And so now he just pleads guilty, and that's that. And I think when he's sentenced, if I saw this, I don't know if it's legit, I didn't fact check it, but it sounds like when he's able to get out of prison is whenever Ohtani's contract's up. That's just hilarious to me. But anyways, I still think something's up with that. But so what did I say that guy's name was? Oh,
was it Marcano?
Yeah, so it's Tucupita Mercado. He did play for the Pirates, and I think he's also played for the Padres. he gambled, but based off games that for the team that he was playing on with the Pirates, and I think he was on the IL when this was happening.
Mhm.
But it says according to Major League Baseball, he won only 4.3% of the 231 MLB related bets that he placed.
Because he probably bet on the Pirates.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That was his first mistake.
Anyways, but yeah, so he's gonna have a lifetime ban, and I'm assuming his is lifetime because again, it was on the team that he played for. And then there was like 4 or 5 other players that did have a year ban. So for doing the same thing, it's weird because a lot of them are minor leaguers. And we might have talked about it on the show before, but minor leaguers in baseball, they're not making a lot of money. You know, like they're eating like chip on bread sandwiches and sleeping in lobbies of hotel rooms, and you know what I'm saying, driving on
Maybe
these.
the MLB thinks playing in the minor leagues is punishment enough. That's why they only get a year.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just, and it's just so funny is because this has been going on obviously a lot since the Ohtani thing happened, but everywhere you look, there's ads all over the place. Is that your dad? Everywhere you look around the stadium, advertisement, it's all the different bettings. You know, like ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, Cardinals had the last 2 weeks. Nothing about bets. Bets all over the place. Bet here, bet there. It's all you see all over the place. So I don't know. I don't know what you do to stop it. You know, people, if you're not making good money, then, you know, I guess this is a way to try to make a little, but
Look, I might try anything I could to get out of the minor leagues too. So there's that. But for Marcano, I know my dad's like watching mouth talking about the Pirates like that. But look, I don't have a problem with betting that they're going to win the pennant every year, but I wouldn't bet on them on like a game-to-game basis. Like that just sounds like you don't want to have your money, I think, if you want to bet on the Pirates on a game-to-game basis. But yeah, I think it's it feels like this keeps going in like waves. Like I feel like baseball is just kind of cycling through. You know how people think that like professional sports are rigged and they're like, oh, the NFL script, the NBA script. It feels like baseball has like run out of scripts. And so now they're going to run back like a betting scandal script for like the season, even though we already did this like a couple of decades ago. And then we'll probably end up in like another steroid script soon. I guess the thing is that for every story that I hear about this, it just seems so dumb, like how they get caught. And it's just like,
so I wonder how they're getting caught.
A bit more sophisticated an operation than like this, like I know for like the Jonte Porter one, like you're spot 9 through 12, like on a team, and you're betting the under on yourself, right? And then coming out of games and being like, after you score 5 points when you needed to go under 6, going to your coach and being like, I have a tummy ache.
Well, his was just obvious. Like he was an idiot. Like, I don't even know what else to say about that. Was that like, dude, you're dumb.
Or like even with like Ohtani's interpreter, like he was betting under his own name. He was calling them impersonating Shohei Ohtani and claiming to like be him and being like, yes, I approved this transaction that my man wants to do with this bank. He was calling and pretending to be the bank. The thing that when that part of the story came out, I'm like, did he do voices? Or was he just like, these people, like, they don't know what he sounds like, or they don't know who works at a bank, or was this like I don't know. I've been rewatching like all the Despicable Me and like Minion movies. It's so underrated. And I'm just imagining him be like, oh, hello. I work. Yes, this is Susan from Bank of America. Like just trying to do like a high-pitched lady voice. to like pretend to be like a bank teller. And so it's just like, bro, we know who this is. Like, we don't care because we know who's backing you. So like, we think you're good for the money, but all of this just feels like shenanigans that are like, I just wish you had a better operation to make this happen than the way a lot of this has gone down. Even with some of the NFL players, like the who was it who got a year suspension, the wide receiver, 2 years ago. Like his name in the app was like A_ his last name and then like 4 numbers. Like it wasn't even like
creative.
You're trying to like hide this or do this differently. Like there was another football player a year or 2 ago who, Calvin Ridley. There was another one who was like went to a bookmaker like in a casino, like literally walked up with like a bag of money. It's like, and it's like, do you know how many cameras there are in a Las Vegas casino? Like, my problem with it is y'all ain't doing it right. I think that's what gets me fired up about this is if you gonna make criminal moves, I need you to have a mastermind somewhere who's like orchestrating this. Like in 15 years working with the criminal justice system, I know people had way more sophisticated operations with just a couple burner phones, and I feel like it's not that hard. And now it's cost you your whole career. Yeah, and like giving out info on your team.
Yeah, so I don't know if he like gave out information on the team for the Pirates. I just know that he was injured, I think, when that was going on. But here's the other names. There was Michael Kelly. He bet $99.22 on Major League games, an average of $9.92 per bet, and he only won 5 of them. He won $28. Jay Groom, he bet $453.74 on 30 baseball games, an average of approximately $15.12 per bet, and he had a net loss of $433. Jose Rodriguez bet $749.09 on baseball with $724 on of that on MLB related bets, and this one kills me. Andrew Salfrank, I'm pretty positive he was like a dominant reliever for the Diamondbacks in the playoffs last year. So I think they all get some sort of bonuses for making at least making it to the World Series. But he bet $445.87 on baseball with 444 of that on MLB related bets, an average of almost $16 with a net loss of $272 on Major League bets, and he only won 5 of the 28 MLB related ones. And then he also did a college one that he lost $1.80 on. So I don't. It's like it's not even like super big money that these guys are betting. And how do they get caught? I wonder. Like it doesn't say how they get caught.
Because they're not being clever about it. But that just sounds like down bad money. This is not a sad story because I didn't realize it was over so little. Like
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's
$28. Bro, I could have mailed you that. You could have sent me like a sponsor form and I could have like sponsored your little league team or whatever. Like that's tragic that it's over so little. I would have to get paid. Yeah, Miss Williams said that this shows that they are lousy bettors. Not only that, it didn't seem like they had a lot to part with. Like $10 a bet, even I'm willing to come up off that. And I'm real cheap when it comes to like any type of like betting or gambling or casino because I don't like to lose money. Like I said, those just sound like down bad opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what sucks. Yeah, that's what sucks. Is like it wasn't even for like you got in trouble and now you're not gonna be able to play the game you love for a year, and then Marcano's not gonna be able to play it ever again. So
I don't want to say that betting is not happening in women's sports. Women are people too. They're competitive. I would just like to think that they're doing it better. I would just like to think that there are women in women's professional sports who just have more sophisticated operations and haven't gotten caught. That's what I would like to believe is happening.
Be a little more smart about it.
Yeah, put your bets in your baby's name or something. I don't know, like troll the obituaries for some recently forfeited names and social security numbers to put some stuff in. So I just want to believe that like women are really smart. Not that they're not betting.
Yeah, and I'm sure these won't be the only players in any sport that we hear, because again, it's crazy. Like me and my husband talk about this all the time. It's funny that like back in high school, like green stuff, I don't know if I can say it, talk about it on YouTube, you get in trouble for that, but now there's billboard here and there and there, and it's like you can go in stores and whatnot. I'm like, okay, like it's weird, it's cool, but it's like 10 years ago, you're getting in trouble for it. Betting, it's legal in most places now, but it's like if you're betting on certain things, you're gonna get in trouble. But I don't know. I'm sure in 10 years it'll be completely different, and this will be nothing. And then those guys are gonna be like, "Wow, I can't believe we did that," just for a couple $100 or whatever. But
Right.
I don't know. But again, betting ads are all over the place. It's on every single ESPN game. Every time there's a commercial break on any commercial, I feel like it's there. If you follow any type of sports media, they're talking about it. They talk about it on ESPN. So, it's everywhere. So I don't know but that won't be the last of it. Obviously, it's going to keep happening and happening.
No, I just need for people to get more sophisticated operations around this.
Yeah, be smarter about it.
Yeah, step your game up. That's my call to action for professional athletes who are betting. Step your game up. It's more embarrassing for you to lose your career over $28 than anything else. So step your game up, people. Let these be cautionary tales.
Oh man. Okay, so let's move on. You mentioned some women's sports. Let's move on to the WNBA. I know you mentioned, you've been watching it. I only see what I see on social media, so I see most of the bad, all the negative stuff leading up to it. Obviously, since last weekend, you've just been hearing all the bickering back and forth, and everyone has an opinion on what with Caitlin Clark. And how do you is it Kennedy Carter? Is that how you say her first name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kennedy Carter and then Angel Reese, all the drama with that. So yeah, everyone's got their own opinion on it. And then you got this going on, and then you have with the Aces, the rookie getting Hayes. It's funny, and Asia Wilson's, taking her under her wing, and it's just, it's fun, it's cool. So what's going on with the WNBA? Annie, fill me in.
A lot of good basketball is going on, and that's the part that's getting missed in all of these storylines. And I know that, the adage in media in general has always been like, if it bleeds, it leads. And so, of course, they're going to show fights. And I mean, no actual fights have happened, but like a foul that wasn't even called a flagrant during that game, that would never lead, unless it was Draymond Green who did something, that would never lead a segment on talking about the NBA is what was at the time a non-flagrant foul or like a heart screen or whatever. And considering the same play happened to Angel Reese, like against the New York Liberty during like one of their games. And so it's just, I get that that's where a lot of the energy is coming from in terms of interest in the WNBA. And I only like really started watching like the WNBA maybe like 3 years ago. My mom really got me into it. But so I'm not someone who's like, you're new here to watching the sport, and so you don't know what you're talking about and all this other stuff. I don't want to be that person. I want the women's game to grow in the same way that I want more people to watch women's professional tackle football. And so even if the reason why you're coming to the games is because you see videos that we're doing or photo shoots that you're doing and you think we're cute or whatever, I don't care. Come for the cute, stay for the football. And that's the way that I feel about like the WNBA. Like, come for Caitlin Clark, come for these storylines, but then stay for the basketball. Because there's been it's a really competitive league. Yes, in many ways, it's a different style of basketball than what's played in the NBA today, but not much different than the way that the style of play was. And the quote unquote best era of basketball to hear some guys talk about it in terms of like the 80s and 90s, where people romanticize Charles Oakley could just walk up to a guy and punch him in the face in the middle of the game. And like we had goons and we had people today are soft and look at these people flopping all over the place and all this other stuff. And you have a more physical game in the WNBA, and now people are acting like pearl clutching over like hard fouls, or or things that aren't even necessarily called fouls in a regular season NBA game, that like in a regular season WNBA game that like would be called fouls in a regular season NBA game, but probably not called as fouls in like the NBA playoffs, right? But that style of physical play just exists, period, within the WNBA. And so there's been some really good basketball. This rookie class has been extremely talented. I know there's been some like casualties from it in terms of like people being drafted high and not making the team. Deasia Fair is not on the team currently. She was drafted, I think, 9th to the Aces, ended up, getting cut later when they have to get to their final roster size. So it's probably the most competitive professional sports league to be a part of. And so, like many people rightfully cautioned against the Caitlin Clark hype, not because they were jealous or because they hate her, but they understood their league better than other people did, which is one, the talent in the WNBA was much better than people gave it credit for, to just think that Caitlin Clark was just going to walk in and like dominate everybody. And two, that it's a lot harder in the WNBA to be a rookie and make an immediate impact. And that's what they were cautioning against. Like, don't expect her to come in here and light the world on fire. This is a different league. It's much harder to make an impact. But she's been playing well. She hasn't set the world on fire. She's not the greatest of all time. She's not the GOAT in the WNBA or anywhere close to it. But she's had a solid start to the season. But still have a lot of other, like, honestly, Angel Reese has been much better in the pros than I thought she would be. I didn't think her game would translate. I didn't think that she would necessarily be like a strong 5 in the WNBA, because so many teams that have bigger 5. Like, I was just imagining her like going in the paint against like Jonquel Jones or something like that. And I was like, I don't know, it's going to translate. But she did what she said she was going to do and really worked on her game. And she's been a great contributor, like even made her way into the starting lineup recently. I feel like that's kind of like a rotating thing, so I don't know if that'll be permanent, but she's really like earning her stripes. Cameron Brink has had an amazing rookie campaign so far. Kate Martin has had, you mentioned Kate Martin for the Aces, like extremely difficult to, as a rookie, come onto a team that had very little roster turnover, with them having won back-to-back championships. And there's no incentive to leave the WNBA because of the pay. So it's not like, and once I get like in the NFL, it's always, can you get to the second contract? That's where the big money comes in. There's no contract in the WNBA where you're going to make like life-changing money. And so you can just walk away. That, like, they have to play until retirement, like the rest of us do. So they're not really leaving. There's not the same turnover in that league. And so it's a lot harder. And so you have a team that wasn't old. Like, as much as people are like, oh, all these old ladies and old players are like, Asia Wilson's 27. She's only 5 years older than Caitlin Clark. She's not some like auntie figure who's like, these kids these days, she's like big sister territory at best. But like their whole, like they had very little turnover and had a fairly young roster. And won back-to-back championships. And so for a rookie to come in and even like make the team is super impressive. Kate's been playing really well, being a good contributor. Rakia Jackson has been playing really well as a rookie. And so there's just been a lot of people who, a lot of women who've really been able to come in and make an immediate impact in a way that they haven't in the past. And so I think that that's like the major basketball storyline. of the WNBA. Right. I agree, Miss Williams. So Miss Williams said she needs to work on her inside game instead of relying on the three. Yeah. Right now, and because this worked in college, right? Like she would either shoot from outside or eventually drive to the basket and finish at the rim, but she doesn't really have a mid-range game. But honestly, like I wouldn't say Sabrina Ionescu was the same way, but she's the one who really worked on her mid-range game. And if you're not familiar with the WNBA, Sabrina is the woman who did the 3-point contest with Steph Curry during NBA All-Star Weekend. And I think only lost by 1 basket, right? And so like she was someone who was known for like out of the gym threes and going to the rim, right? So before Caitlin Clark, there was Sabrina. And she really has worked on like a mid-range game and how to get her teammates more involved, become a better passer. And so, yeah, I think that that's totally possible for Caitlin Clark. And in terms of her, and here's the other thing about like her performance, but also for all the rookies. I think what's being lost is, so I think today, if I'm remembering correctly, is like exactly 2 months from when the NCAA women's tournament was played, right? It was like April 5th, exactly, right? It's like the first week of April.
We
right?
were talking, me and Smoooth were talking about that before all the rookies made their debuts, you know, like it's kind of crazy. They were just in college and, you know, like Caitlin Clark just won and Kate Martin just won a championship and now they're expected to just
lost to South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Oh, go to a brand new team with people that have been in the league for a while. It's different. It's going to be different. Just like you get to AAA in baseball. Yeah, they're still throwing 100 and this and that, but it's completely different from whenever you go from the minors to the big leagues, you know? So it's like, we got all the talk of like I don't care about it. Like you're going to see the why can I not think of the word right now? The penalties. What am I thinking of? You know, you're going to see all that. Fouls.
Yeah.
You're going to see all that. You see it in the NBA. You're going to see it in any sport. But like, I don't like how you're like, okay, all she could do is just shoot threes. Okay, well, Steph Curry's made a career out of it. So like, who cares? You know, but it's like, yeah, they all of them, you know, Kate Martin and Angel Reese, all of them, they're just now learning a brand new league. You know, so it's like give them time to adjust. You know, all of them are gonna have to adjust to something. You know, so I don't know. It's gonna be exciting to watch, but that's something I don't know why is it so damn close? You know, like 2 months to adjust to be from a college kid to a pro. That's wild.
Right. And like they finished the championship game. 2 weeks later was the WNBA draft, and then it was, I think, 5 weeks before play started, right? And now they're already 10 games into their season. They're already like a quarter of a way through their season. And they're having an accelerated season because they're not playing during the Olympics. And so then you have some of these women who are playing their games, but also training to play for the Olympic team, right? And so, yeah, the teams that are looking the best right now, like Phoenix, Liberty, Aces, like Connecticut, like it's the ones that aren't working rookies into like their first or second lineups and have already had time together. Because if you just like, Caitlin Clark is an exceptional passer, and that has not translated because she's had no time to practice, right? Aaliyah Boston is way taller than any center that Caitlin Clark played with at Iowa. And so you can see her trying to throw passes into the paint, and they're like hitting Aaliyah like at like hip level or whatever, where the defender can immediately like come up and instead of like, no, she can get up there, like throw it up. Like that's who you're playing with now. The passing lanes are way different. As you know, in terms of like how defenses are run at the pro level versus the college level, where you're rarely repeating who you're playing. And so you're not really like scheming for them. Whereas in a league that has a little more than a dozen teams, like I ain't got nothing but time to prepare for you. Like, they've already played like the Liberty like 3 or 4 times, I think. Like, they already know what they're going to do against them, and they're already have their team set. I would be surprised if Indiana has even installed like a real offense yet. They probably are just like, Caitlin and Aaliyah, get us some buckets. Like, the coach even admitted there was a 2-week stretch where they had 6 games, and the coach was like, we haven't had a single practice because they're already playing. And so didn't want to like wear them out with practices in between. And so like we're watching Caitlin Clark practice is essentially what we're watching. There is no time. Whereas the men's tournament finished 2 days before the women's, they haven't even had their draft. You like Caitlin Clark and Bronny James quit playing basketball at the same time, roughly, right? When the college season ended. We haven't even had the draft yet for Bronny to even know where he's going to go. He's going to have months before. There's like 5 months between when the men's basketball season ends and when training starts for the NBA, right? Within 5 weeks, this class, the WNBA always like already has their people playing because they finish their entire season basically during the summer because there aren't as many games. They get truncated because of things like the Olympics this year and those sorts of things. So give it time. And also, y'all, Caitlin Clark is a grown woman. I don't know if y'all noticed about her. She's 22 years old. She's a grown woman. People need to lay off trying to cape for her like she's some fragile petal who can't handle playing basketball. She herself says she trash talks. She's the competitor. They talk to her after games. She's like, yep, we're competitive. There's going to be hard fouls. The pace, like, she's fine. So everybody, take a moment.
It's the media, man.
Undo
Like,
your cape.
oh my gosh, it's
also
everywhere.
on social media. Like, all these men and posts, it's like, well, all these black women just hate her. And it's like, they ain't got the energy to hate her. They're making money. Right?
Yeah, it's like you got all like everyone trying to make it either like a race thing, a political thing, and I'm just like, you got some dude, I don't know who it was, said like, oh no, it was a girl, said, oh, I would have punched her. It was a former WNBA player. I would have punched her. I'm like this happened a week ago. What are we doing? Just shut up. Let's play some games. Like it's everywhere. It's the same thing with like the Butker thing. Every time I click on a new tab on my work computer, it brings up all different news things. The first thing I see is either the Kennedy Carter thing and Caitlin Clark, or the Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Jason Kelce, and Butker. That's all I see. It's like it's not even sport related. It's drama related, and I'm tired of it. Like, what are we doing? It's like just let these people play games. You know, like. Oh, I don't even know what else to say about it. It's like I almost didn't even want to talk about it because I'm already like over it. You know, it's been a week.
Thing is that, and I get that that's going to be the thing that like draws attention. I get that. It's not what draws me into it, but I get like, I think it was like Elle Duncan who made this point as well. Like, people will get on social media or whatever and be like, why does ESPN always talk about the Cowboys? You always talk about the Cowboys. They haven't won anything. And it's like, because we have numbers that show whenever we mention the Cowboys, the numbers go up, the number of calls coming up. Same thing with LeBron James. People are like, you need to quit talking about LeBron James. Okay, but whenever we post LeBron James, we get 10 times the comments, likes, shares, or whatever than we do anything else. So I get the business side of it. But all I'm saying is come for whatever brings you in the door, but stay for the basketball. Mm-hmm. There's really good basketball happening. And Caitlin Clark is absolutely a part of that. But so are so many other people. And so like, there's really good basketball on the other end of this discussion. And I think what gets me is when the only thing that people want to talk about in relation to this is what they feel are grievances on Caitlin Clark's behalf when she herself isn't even like, come save me, come help me.
You know what's funny is like, I don't even know, like, has Caitlin Clark even said anything in regards to it, like in an interview or anything? Because I
was not a basketball play. Like in terms of the Kennedy Carter one, she was like, that was not a basketball play. In terms of people asking her about the physicality after their other game, she's like, yeah, it's a physical lead. We're competitors. And people have tried to like goat her into saying that like, well, do you think it's because they hate you? Do you think it's this or that? And she's always been like, I think we're all competitors. I think we're all trying to win. Like, I think I'm still getting the hang of the game. Like, she's handling it well. It's other people that feel like they need to like put on this cape for her and come to her defense.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I haven't even seen any quotes from Caitlin Clark. Anywhere I
Be
look.
interesting because she's not going to say, well, they hate me because I'm white and they're black. Then you would see quotes, but that's not what she's saying. And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
instead,
The only thing I'm seeing is the only thing I've been seeing is Carter saying, "I'm not talking about it. I don't want to answer any question about Caitlin Clark, or all she does is hit threes." And then you got Angel Reese saying, I'm bringing people into the stands too. Like, and then they're trying to make her look like she's jealous, which she's not. So it's just social media, man. Social media, the media. You love it, but I absolutely hate it at the same time. It's so aggravating because you could just take so many things out of context.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Even if this is what gets you in the door and this isn't what the sport is about, stay for the basketball. It's the same thing with women's football. Like, there's really good football being played. And you miss that if all you're trying to do is talk about all the ancillary stuff, which there is some really interesting stuff that are really interesting things that could be talked about in the context of like the WNBA. It is one of the more diverse leagues in terms of not only players, but also ownership, coaches, those sorts of things. You could have like a non-angry discussion about that. There's a larger percentage in comparison to other professional sports of people who identify as a part of the queer community and are out about it. I mean, I think it's interesting that in the WNBA that like some of them are married to each other, some of them are exes, some of them are playing against their exes in games. Like, if you like a little bit of messy with your sports, like that's what I think is interesting, is like, okay, let's see how she do playing against her old things new boo. Like, that would be the stuff that would interest me. But even that doesn't get talked about. And it's just, yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of like intersectionality and really important things that the WNBA could be used to foster conversation around, but it's not being used to foster any type of healthy dialogue about those things. And people are also missing that it's a basketball league and they're playing basketball. And we could talk about that too.
It's not some reality TV show we're watching. I feel like that's what they're trying to make it out to be. And I will say they don't do that for men.
Right.
Carry on. Okay. Oh man, we could talk about that for days probably. Anyways, NBA Finals. You said they start tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We got Jason Tatum and the Mavs.
I don't know how it feels about Jason Tatum.
Oh lordy! Look at him right there. Look at him. He's like,
oh, he looks angry, girl. Oh, I'm so scared.
Oh, how you're talking though right now?
Where he has made that face.
How you talking right now? Are you saying the Mavs gonna win this or what?
I am. If I were a betting person, I would bet on the Mavs. I probably got $9.29 or what was that guy making per bet? An average of $9.29. I could probably put $9.29 on the Mavs to win. I think it's going to be a long series. I don't think. I think the challenge for Boston is that they have not had the kind of sufficient challenge leading up to this series as Dallas has. And so the question is, will that, what I believe to be a huge jump in talent and play from a beat up Heat, a beat up, who else did they play? I know that they just like dismissed of the Pacers and was it Cleveland? Yeah. So like they just had really no pressure applied to their style of play, to their coaching. Like there was really nothing that Joe Mazzulla had to figure out in terms of like his second year coaching in the playoffs. And so you wonder if, I don't know, that if there are some muscles that haven't quite been warmed up yet, given that the Mavs are a much higher caliber team than the ones that they've played, but also had some series that gave them some challenges and at least forced them to, I guess, be warm, right, for these playoffs. And I mean, honestly, like Luka and Kyrie just look unstoppable right now. I know that Boston has an incredible defense. They have an incredible team defense. They have great individual defenders, but there's just, I mean, Luka and Kyrie together are just playing like Thanos right now. Like they just seem inevitable. And
well, Thanos loses in the end.
I mean, there were, what was it that Doctor Strange said? There was like umpteen thousand scenarios where they lost.
There's always one. There's only once.
This ain't, that's the kind of odds that Boston have in this right now. So
okay, so I got a question then. So Boston,
Yeah.
you know, with them being there last year, do you think that gives them any sort of advantage? Like they know what to expect. They got some experience.
So they weren't in the finals last year because that's when they lost to the Heat.
Okay, yeah, all right. Gosh dang it.
The year,
I made a boo-boo earlier. You didn't correct me?
No, that's what it was with they were in the finals when Steph Curry won his most recent championship. But this is a team that's been to the finals before. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals like 5 times, and like since Jason Tatum has been there, or like made it there, not made it to the conference final, not necessarily won it.
So the next step's to win the dang thing, right?
That is the next step. And, you know, I think people talk about NBA career trajectories in that way, that like you kind of just got to make it to the playoffs and lose, and then you come back better, and then you make it to the conference finals and then lose. And so if that were true, then this would have to happen. I think the thing is that if they don't win this year, I feel like you have to tear the whole thing down. I feel like Adam Silver has to come in and be like, look, guys, we've tried this long enough. You had literally the easiest pathway here, and y'all still couldn't get it done against a team that had like an 18% chance of making it to the finals. And so y'all, we got to split y'all up. Some of y'all got to go home or go somewhere else. And not only just because of like the chances and the like getting close and not doing it, but just the caliber of this team. I think it's the best iteration of the team so far. And so particularly if Porzingis is healthy, which he got a lot of rest because they didn't need him in any of those other series. They do not have the 2 best players in the series, I wouldn't say. But then 3 through whatever else is, they have the best players. And so they should win.
They have more depth.
I have no confidence in that, though.
All right, so you said it's going deep. Do you think it's going to be Mavs in 7, Mavs in 6, 5?
I always feel like it's disrespectful to say anything fewer than 6. So it's not like I think that Boston are like scrubs. So I'm going to say Mavs in 7.
All right. Yeah, I put Celtics in 7.
Why?
Yeah.
Just because of Jason Tatum?
Yeah. I like Annie. You've been on the show long enough to know how I feel about Jay Tatum. Okay.
Okay, but unless they stop and have a beauty pageant in the middle, there's nothing that he brings.
Hey, I'll say what Smooth said. As long as he doesn't play like a pretty boy, then he'll be all right. They'll be all right. I don't know.
They have no chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think they have experience and whatnot. That helps out as well. So, but yeah, I mean, the Mavs look dangerous as well. I think who do they play in the championship? The conference finals.
Minnesota.
yeah, everyone's like, they just like gave them one just to make them feel good about themselves because it was bad. That was bad after that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So
I
we
think it'll be
lost 9-29 that day.
yeah. But I think it'll be a fun finals. I'll probably actually tune in a little bit even.
Kyrie better than Tatum. He's playing better than Tatum right now. This isn't like an all-time ranking. I think his play has been better than Tatum's leading up to this.
I think it's gonna be a fun one. I just hope it goes 7. I say that about every sport that I don't have like a team that I want, because if it's the Cardinals or the Blues, I want them to sweep.
Right.
But yeah, like I just think the finals in basketball for the most part is pretty exciting, and I want this to go 7. You got some big names in there, and I think it's gonna be fun, and hopefully there'll be 2 trophies in St. Louis later on this summer. I think it'd be dope.
I think we should put something on this. I will eat a slice of Emo's pizza if the Celtics win this series.
How the hell are you going to get some Emo's pizza down in Florida?
You can mail it to me. It won't taste no different than if I had it.
Oh, stop. The disrespect. Stop.
You could put some packing peanuts around it and put it in a box and send it via UPS. And it'll get here in 3 days and taste exactly the same as if you just pulled it out the oven.
Though, my daughter, we tried getting her to eat some Emo's.
Why, you hate her?
Oh, no, stop. She goes, I want real pizza. Because she just does it like the square confuses the hell out of her.
That's not the only thing that's wrong with that pizza, but yeah.
Tiffany says Boston in 7.
Exactly. That's exactly what Emo's is. It's
crackers. What about CC Whitakers? What about CC Whitakers? That sounds good too.
I have not eaten. What is a CC Whitakers?
Oh Lord, it's the same type, the squares. I think it's got a little more thickness to it. I don't know, like sauce and cheese, and it's pretty good. That's what we're gonna have on Saturday when we're watching the.
Wait, but you think Emo's is good, right?
I will crush some Emo's.
So I don't trust your taste buds. So I'm not taking food recommendations.
Or like, when you get frozen pizza, what do you get when you get frozen pizza? And don't say you never get frozen pizza, because I don't believe you.
California Pizza Kitchen.
That's a good one. I like Jack's Pizza, and it needs to be a little crunchy. I like it when it's a little crispy and crunchy.
There's nothing wrong with a little crispy and crunchy. There's another thing when your crust is literally a cracker. I really think that's what they use. Like, I think they just like get a little bowl and a little what's the thing called, like a pestle, and they just like
crush it all up.
Or maybe they got some kindergartners back there that like mash things up with their hands.
Hey, Coach Willis.
Hey, Coach Willis.
So
and then
tell
they
me
get
what you like.
Some off-brand mod pizza's good. Yeah, see, you can have a thin crust, but that's just not what Emo's is. Emo's is.
I could probably eat pizza every day and not get tired of it, and just plain old pepperoni.
My grandparents who grew up in the Great Depression would eat Emo's pizza, and they used to eat canned sardines on saltines and stuff.
The disrespect.
Yeah. So that I think that shows my love. I will put $9.29 and a slice of Emo's on the Mavs winning this series.
I should be hoping that the Mavs and the Panthers win, because I also said on the show that if those two teams win, the Celtics and the Oilers, I'll be buying a McDavid sweater and the black with the green trim Celtics Tatum jersey. So I should be hoping and praying that they lose, because I ain't got money for that shit. But
I told you I would get you your Pirates hat if the Pirates win, though. So that one's on me.
Okay, that one's on you. We gotta think of something different instead of Emo's pizza. I'm not saying your ass Emo's pizza to Florida.
I told you it wouldn't taste no different. So
just wear like a Cardinals hat and say next time you're on the show, wear a Cardinals hat and say the Cardinals are winning the pennant.
Oh no, I don't. If the Clippers were playing, then I would do that level of investment. But the Mavs aren't even my team. I'm just so. Okay. Oh, I can't wear Cardinals gear. I can't be seen in that.
Oh Lord. Okay. Okay. All right. No, you'll have to wear Steelers gear.
Oh no.
Like,
The only black and gold that touches my body is Penguins and Pirates. That's
okay.
it.
All
Well,
right.
You need to. I mean, I feel like you need some skin in the game in this bet. What are you gonna do if the Mavs win?
All right. Let's see. I don't have any other hats that I don't like. I don't know. Give me some ideas. Someone put a clip or a comment on there.
Yes, we're
What should I
now
do?
we're taking requests. What should Joe's punishment be if the Mavs win the series? She said she'll do anything. So
The
go ahead.
Pirates are better than the Cardinals. False. Just kidding.
Nope. You have to cut a whole promo in Pirates gear for the show.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right, there we go.
I'll have to wear like a black shirt because I ain't got no pirate shirt. But we do have a Pirates hat. I know for a fact we have a Pirates hat. My husband's trying to get all the MLB teams, and I'm saving the Cubs and the Yankees for last because screw those guys.
Someone said you have to wear a Barry Bonds jersey.
A Barry Bonds jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ed, you gonna send me one? Or I'll
more than a slice of emos. What does a slice of emos cost? Like 2 food stamps? I mean, what's the price on that?
You're killing me.
Pennies with a hole in it? Like, I don't know. Wooden nickels. What do you pay for emo people?
We haven't actually gotten emos in a while because again, my daughter doesn't like it, so not wasting money. Like I love Taco Bell, but she doesn't really like Taco Bell, and so now we never get Taco Bell. The sacrifices I make as a mother, it's
She's got discerning
Happy Meals every freaking time. Tired of McDonald's.
You're doing something right. Baby girl's got discerning taste. I can't leave emos alone though. I can't. I don't understand it.
Oh, you can. Yeah, you can get frozen emos nowadays. Schnucks does, but I think Walmart they have like emos, and they have like have you watched Stranger Things?
No, but I'm familiar with the show.
Okay, well there's like a pizza store in there. They have that pizza there, and they even have Ninja Turtles pizza. Like
I bet
they have
Ninja Turtles pizza tastes better than emos, and I don't even know what a Ninja Turtles pizza is. It can be made with and by actual turtles, and it would taste better than emos.
You're over exaggerating now.
Not. I'm absolutely not. It could be turtle meat pizza, and it would taste better than emos.
Hey, Emos, please sponsor us. All right, move on. Oh Lord. All right, let's talk about Simone Biles. I bet she likes Emo's pizza because her man's from.
She absolutely does not. That championship body has never touched a slice of Emo's pizza. It would break that. That would be like putting like the lowest grade of gas in a Ferrari for Simone Biles to eat a slice of Emo's pizza. Oh my God. What is there left? You keep thinking that there's nothing left to say about the greatness of Simone Biles. And she continues to just elevate herself. She became the first woman to have a score of at least 60 or higher after day one of the all-arounds, which hadn't been done. And so it's just like, she just continues to find a way to raise the bar.
Hey!
I'm sure Emo sent that to her. That does not mean she ate it. Look, that's the smile you give when your aunt sends you an ugly sweater for Christmas. And your mom's like,
I need you to find a video for eating it.
No. And your mom was like, well, at least take a picture in it and send it to her. That's exactly what that smile says. I've been taken hostage.
Uh-oh.
She's not taking a bite. She's holding it.
Beyond compare. Oh, look at her.
Holding it. She ain't eating it.
Who ate all that pizza?
Her husband.
Probably.
He's the only one with the broken taste bud that I've been killed by the Mississippi River or whatever runs through there to even eat that.
The hate, man, the hate.
No, toasted ravioli is good. Like St. Louis has good food. Why y'all have like put y'all reputation on emos is beyond me. Toasty
Quick question.
ravioli is awesome.
Okay, what about, do you like gooey butter cake?
Of course.
Hell yeah. My husband doesn't like gooey butter cake, and I think he's insane.
Oh, yeah, get rid of him. So,
I can't do that.
You don't need that negativity in your life.
More for me.
No, what? Who said nope, too sweet? Oh my goodness.
Who said that? I didn't even see it.
Oh yeah.
That's why my husband doesn't like it. He said it's too sweet.
No such thing. No such thing.
Have some water or some milk ready to go, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. Take an insulin shot, and then like person up and eat the gooey butter cake. It's so good. I agree, Miss Williams. She is somehow better than she's ever been. I love how she has had the opportunity to make the return that she's had since essentially telling the world that she needed to focus on her mental health. Like Serena did something similar, but she did it as she was retiring, right? Whereas you see somebody at the peak of the sport take an actual break, take time off, get it together, and come back better. And I think that that's for athletes. That is sometimes, I think, the disincentive to take the time that you need to focus on your mental health is because you feel like that's taking away from the other things you need to do in order to perform at a high level. And I think Simone has proven with her performances of late that doing that work just allows you to come back so much better and like mentally stronger. But also she looks in better physical conditioning. She looks way ahead of pace of where you would expect her to be, given the Olympic trials coming on. She's amazing. And I'm really excited. I wonder this about the rest of the field, because you have people, again, in a sport where it's super competitive, but there are so few slots, what it means to have somebody occupy the top for so long. So like we talked about this in the WNBA about how like their stars don't really leave. They don't get paid enough. There's not really an incentive to leave early. And so you have all these amazing rookies come out of college and can't even get spots on teams because people are already signed a contract. I kind of feel that way every time I see Simone Biles in a competition recently, where it's like, you see like Sky Blakely and like, there was this other amazing gymnast. She's 15. She had just moved up from the juniors. And it's like, I hope you really like second place. Like, like you'll just never, as long as Simone Biles decides she wants to be around, like you won't get to the top of the mountain, right? Whereas before in gymnastics, when they basically used to retire them at like 18, it was like you were always having a new like it girl and like gymnastics kind of cycle through. And it's just like, you just have to hope that Simone Biles just decides to take a break or something, like let you get one.
She already gave you a break. she's good to go now.
She doesn't love Emo's Pizza. You called her out on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I mean, I wouldn't say that I would fake something. I'd be like, yeah, it's great. My husband introduced me. If I were on the Jimmy Kimmel show, where's Simone Biles' diary? Because I want to see the private thoughts that she had after tasting that struggle meal. And it's not even a meal for when you're struggling. The meal itself is struggling. The meal itself, like, is depressed and doesn't want to be there. And then people eat it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Brittany,
yes,
come on the show and join us so you can help defend emos with me. Oh my god. You know what's crazy about Simone Biles? She's only 27 years old.
I know.
What in the world? Like, so the whole depression thing, the mental health, did that happen 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
She's 25. And she made the decision to do this herself, of like just kind of just step away from something that she loves just to try to get herself right. And like, I'm like just now starting to learn about like anxiety and stuff like that, you know, and because not a lot of people talk about it, but now like I'm just now starting to learn about this. And she's 25, one of the biggest athletes in the world, and she, you know, steps away and she gets, you know, crapped on for it, and now she's back and she's the best again at 27 freaking years old. Like it's just it blows my mind how good she is. I'm excited to watch it because my daughter's really into gymnastics right now. So she'll just put on some random gymnastics videos on YouTube and watch them. So I'm excited. I think she'll really enjoy it. And like when we go to her gymnastic classes, I'm in all of these kids that are just like climbing ropes and doing backflips, and I'm like, it hurts me to watch it. Like it hurts my body. And so, so I don't know. I think it's gonna be cool. I hope she kicks ass like she usually does, and yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, and Miss Williams, yeah, you're absolutely correct. Because remember, she had testified at the sentencing hearing only a couple weeks before the Tokyo Olympics, and so and about her own story and what she personally experienced, as well as seeing what her teammates like Allie Raisman and others had experienced as well. And so you're talking about someone having to testify about very personal things in court, and then a couple weeks later, like go and compete. But yeah, she's amazing and just really setting a new standard, I think, for women's sport. Like I even loved that she on social media told people to F off about her marriage and wasn't like, you know, like, oh, I can't really say anything. She needs to say that about Emo's Pizza. She may have felt less comfortable on the Jimmy Kimmel show saying that about
What were they giving her crap about?
Because a couple months ago, Jonathan Owens did an interview and he was asked about like how it was not long after their wedding, and he was asked like how they met or whatever. You know, they met through like a app that's for the rich and famous. And he said that he didn't know who she was until like after they had started talking. And then two, he referred to himself as the prize. And he's like, yeah, she got her a good prize or something like that. And people were like, the audacity. Who even is a Jonathan Owens? She's the prize. And like, then I think some people were being like cheeky and like at the meets that she did afterwards, like talking about like, oh, Mr. Biles plays football, and you know, like he's a football, like little jabs, like, no, she's actually the star, and you're just kind of like her husband. She's not Jonathan Owens' wife, kind of thing. But then some people were just taking it like way too far and like trashing him. And she was just like, respectfully, F off. Do not talk about my husband. And also, here's the Yurchenko double pike for your ass. So, like, like
it's the same people that are on social media that have like no profile picture.
Mhm.
They just go on just to troll. They have no
Absolutely.
lives.
But I love that she wasn't like, because you think about particularly the women's gymnastics teams of old, where like they never would have said anything or, you know, like been tightly controlled in terms of their media presence, all that stuff. Like all of that stuff was so tightly controlled where they didn't seem human. They didn't seem like real people. And honestly, the gymnastics world treated them like that, right? It's like you put them through all of this and then you just basically throw them out to pasture and you don't hear about any of them again unless they happen to call like another Olympics, right? But Simone Biles has managed to like be a person through, in addition to being the world's best athlete, right? And like being at the top of her game and showing that like she can go out and have fun and still come in the next day and score the highest in a day one of a all-around competition. And so I think she's like really breaking a lot of barriers for women in sports in a way that I think is really remarkable and admirable.
Heck yeah. And when does the actual Olympics begin? Is it July or August?
It's July, right? Because they still have the Olympic trials coming up at the end of this month. So I would assume it would have to be in July at some point. This was the last competition to qualify. And then they have the actual Olympic trials coming up at the end of this month. Okay, so July 26th is when the Olympics start.
Cool. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for it. I feel like I'm usually more into the Winter Olympics than the Summer Olympics for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like with hockey. I enjoy the hockey and whatnot, you know. The snowboard. I like just watching the snowboarding and the what's the thing where they do that and they sweep real fast.
Curling?
Yes. Oh, that's so cool.
You're watching chores. You're watching chores.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Oh man, like a couple years ago when Shaun White he came back from injuries and whatnot and won, like that's cool. But no, Summer Olympics, it's exciting. I can't wait for it. Let's stick to some more women's sports. And Annie, tell me about the St. Louis Slam.
I will tell you about the Slam, but first I want to tell you I got an email today, which I think was like, I think they did. I think they sent the email out today just because they knew I was going to be on a sports talk show later. But the email was from the NFL Alumni Association, which has now officially partnered with the WFA, the Women's Football Alliance, where the league in which the Slam plays, and have invited all alumni of the WFA to join the NFL Alumni Association. So you can, if you played in the WFA, you can register. We can now register and get the same benefits as NFL alumni. So they include things like career development resources, networking opportunities, health and wellness support, and more. So that official partnership was just launched. And so like, I didn't complete the registration yet, but could register and now be in the same association as Emmitt Smith. And that's all I really want, is just to find a way to be closer to
Hell
Emmitt.
yeah.
The greatest running back of all time, don't at me. So yeah. So not only is the league itself like really elevating to new heights, which is awesome. The Slam themselves ended the 42-game win streak of the Boston Renegades. Like the Boston Renegades and the WFA are like the Monstars. They have been completely undefeated. The Slam lost to them in the championship last year, a game that was televised on ESPN3, I think. And this year's championship, I believe, will be televised on just regular ESPN, I think. I will double check that. But it's getting a bump in the ESPN rankings. And so they lost last year in the championship. It was the most competitive game. Oh, okay. Last year they were on ESPNU. They're getting a bump up this year. So they may be on ESPN2 this year instead of like regular ESPN. They're getting a bump up from being on U. But they gave them the most competitive game that like Boston had in a really long time. And then this year during the regular season, Boston came to St. Louis. It was 2 Saturdays ago. And the Slam from start to finish, I think just showed that they were the better team. And that was the week after having a really close game away at Minnesota with the Vixen, who are another really strong team in the pro division of the WFA. And then I was worried that they might have a letdown after such like a historic victory this past weekend when they went to Dallas, but they handled business. I think they won like 42-6. And so the squad is just looking great. They're really coming together. Defense is looking amazing. I feel like I just fangirl every time I watch. Like I'm getting to watch my favorite players play, like Mary Altpeter, who is now at linebacker, was a defensive end last year. I've known her since her rookie season, and just like seeing her on, like just seeing her play now and how far she's come, just the eye discipline, like has been amazing to watch. the games are not, the regular season games are not streamed on ESPN Plus, but you can always go to the St. Louis Slam Facebook page and they share the link for their live stream for all their games. So I watch them through the live stream link. I mean, just seeing like so many just dynamic people, veterans who continue to play at an extremely high level, like Kiana Smith. Jamie is having an incredible year. She's the quarterback for the team. Yeah, just so many amazing. I always say, is it McMahon or Manahan? Number 17, who's on the screen now, who used to play basketball for SLU. Played on the women's basketball team at SLU. This is her second year with the Slam, I believe. Like, she's incredible at tight end, and actually they use her in a lot of different packages. So it's just been really great to watch how this team has come back from the Carrie McMahon. To see this team like come back the way that they're playing. I think they're going to win the championship this year. I think they'll probably meet Boston again in the championship. But I think they'll win this year. So
2 questions. One, where in St. Louis do they have their home games?
That is a good question because I don't know where they are now.
Okay. And then
they moved.
Okay. And I was just going to ask also, just because mind blown, with like.
Okay, they're still at St. Mary's. I thought they had a game the other week. It didn't look like it was at St. Mary's. Maybe that was just a one-time thing. Sometimes events at St. Mary's conflict with the schedule, but it seems like most of their home games are still at St. Mary's High School.
Cool. And then I feel like with NFL, we always say that, running backs, I feel like they have like short careers. Like what's like the age that, women football players stop playing? Because, it is tackling and stuff.
I think last year at the because the championship game is played in the football stadium where the Hall of Fame game is played in Canton, Ohio. And so they did a ceremony for I think her last name was Bryant. She was celebrating her 20th year playing and had turned 50. So I know one of the offensive linemen, I'm not going to say her name, but her and her daughter play on the team together. She's an offensive line woman. She has to be in her late 40s, if not early 50s.
Oh my gosh.
Her daughter is late 20s or early 30s. Actually, she has to be 30 something. So I would say that her mom, again, I'm not going to say their names because they don't want to be outed, but her mom has to be in her 50s. And she's still one of the most dominant offensive line women in the game. So yeah, the average age on the Slam, I think when I was there was like early 30s, maybe late 20s. My last year was 2019. I was 37. I think I was like the 4th or 5th oldest player on the team. At that time. So yeah, that's like the average age is probably late 20s, early 30s.
Jeez. All right. Well, kudos to them because my knees hurt. My knees hurt. I just turned 30. Me and my husband will play catch with a football in the front yard and I'm sore the next day. So kudos because jeez. And speaking of this, so we'll have Smoooth and Siddall of the Platform Sports Talk Show. They're going to be at the game on June 15th at 7 p.m. to get interviews and some footage. So keep an eye out for some dope videos because he always puts out these cool reels and whatnot. So yeah, excited to see that as well. Yeah, that's cool though. Battlehawks. We're going to go to men's football.
This is your time to educate me because I do not follow the Battlehawks.
I was real, watched them hardcore last year and then the first year, before the pandemic happened. And this year I've been keeping up with it through social media like I do with like other sports. But I mean, They're in the playoffs, baby. They're in the playoffs. The first time a St. Louis football team, men's, are going to be making the playoffs. So that's exciting. They have a game this Sunday, I think. Miss Dub, let us know if you're going to be there. I know you have season tickets. Caw. Yeah, I mean the city's going to be buzzing. It sounds so silly because it's not an NFL team, but I mean it's just like UFL, XFL, the Battlehawks and their fans have shown. Every week my husband goes through and be like, oh, this place had 2,000 attendance, 5,000. And then the Battlehawks come in with 20 plus thousand. We should have asked Fred for Jamie to hop on the show because they were at the game this past week. I wanted to know how that went, but made the playoffs. They're going to have home field advantage. And it's a night game, so maybe I'll actually get to see it,
Okay.
I know my aunt's going. They're gonna be tailgating at like 11 until the game starts.
Oh wow!
And I don't think she's ever been to like besides like a DeBerg or St. Mary's football game. I don't think she's ever been to like a professional football game before. So I'm excited for her to experience this. So Miss Dub, let us know if you're going to be there. Everyone wear blue. Hopefully the place is packed, and I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be awesome.
So I take it that you're going for the Battlehawks. So I'll take the Brahmas just to be antagonistic.
Smooth, why is Andy part of the show?
That's a very good question. Very good question. I don't even live in St. Louis anymore.
Oh man.
I come from Miss Williams.
There we go, Miss Doe. She does have a ticket. She's gonna be there. Cawing, calls the law. I don't know. It's gonna be a great atmosphere. Cardinals probably play during the day, and I'm sure people are gonna be going down afterwards to finish off their night down at the Battle Dome. And then it's cool. It's like obviously we want them to make it to the championship game, but regardless, the game's gonna be in St. Louis anyway. So some good coverage for St. Louis in general, which is gonna be dope.
It's awesome.
Yep.
You think y'all will get an NFL team back there at some point?
I don't think so. I feel like we talk about this all the time. I see us get an NBA team before we get an NFL team.
Okay.
I don't know why they just don't like us. I mean, we've had 2 NFL teams here before, and they're gone.
Yeah,
so.
They like to love you and leave you.
Yeah, and I don't get it. Like, if you see the attendance every weekend for a team that doesn't have huge names on it, even City right now, they're not playing great, but that place is packed and rocking every single weekend that they're there. And so we just like sports in St. Louis.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, 30,000 plus every week. So, maybe if everyone keeps showing out all the time, maybe it will happen. I just don't see it happening in the near future. So to our last segment, got one is like if you're in charge of a league or something, what's something that you would change?
So I would change betting rules. I would let people go ahead and bet out in the open. They could bet more than $9 if
bet on their like teams and stuff though.
No, so they can't bet on the sport that they play for. But like in the NFL, the 2 Detroit players who got suspended last year, like they were betting. It wasn't on the NFL at all, but in the NFL, you can't do any sports betting at an NFL property for the players, right? And so they were at like the training facility when the bets were placed. And so then that's why they got suspended for 6 games each last year. And I would just be like, look, you can't have, like you said, your entire league is sponsored by a sports book. It's like this broadcast brought to you by like Caesar Sportsbook, and run commercials for all this. And then be like, oh, but we don't want the people who are making this possible to benefit financially from it in any way. So I would run all the leagues and I would change all the betting policies to make them more upfront.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like we were both saying earlier, it's all over the place right now. So why not? Just as long as you're not betting in your sport, you know. I don't know, but again, we might see something like that change in the next 10 years or so.
It would have to. I think it's going to get to a point where someone who they absolutely can't lose will do something, and then they'll be like, okay, maybe we've been too harsh about this. We definitely can't lose Jason Tatum. So
Can't
let's
lose
come up with
Otani.
right, exactly. And we can only throw but so many interpreters under the bus for it. So let's, figure something out. So I think it's going to take somebody that a league is dependent upon for them to start to figure out something else other than a flat out at all times and always no and bans and stuff. Yeah, we need to get NIL back pay. I agree. I don't know how we do that, but that would also be what I would do. I would run the NCAA and I would drain endowments to provide. And whatchamacallit? Guy.
That's a candy
Running
bar.
back. Huh?
I said that's a candy bar.
Guy, running back, just got his Heisman back.
Oh, Reggie Bush?
That's it. So we just gave him his Heisman back. So I think there needs to be some like restoration and making whole of college players before then. So I would run the NCAA. I would drain college endowments to provide back pay to all players. And yeah, and then and then my last act as president of the NCAA would be to dismantle the NCAA because it's a stupid institution. So, yeah. No, you don't have to let it go. I'm here to cape for this. I'm on this. If I ran the NCAA, we definitely would do back pay. So we would just drain some college endowments. We'd repo some equipment out of like Alabama's football stadium, or like Ohio State's football facility, and like all these facilities where instead of paying players, they made like spinning gaming chairs in front of every locker or whatever. We would just repo all that stuff, put it up for auction, use it to back pay people across all sports and the NCAA. And then I would close the NCAA.
It's just over.
What about you, Joe?
Mine is not just one specific sport, but the NBA and the NHL right now had me thinking about it. It's like, you don't need a week off before the finals. Why do we need a week's worth of media coverage and whatnot? Like, let's play these games, man. Like, when did the last game of the NBA's conference happen with the Mavs?
Last Thursday.
A week. And then the NHL. That happened a week ago as well. Like, what are we doing? Why do they need a week's worth of rest and media coverage? And every sports station you go to, who has the best defense? Who has the upper hand on this and that? Who's going to win it? And everyone changes their mind 10 times in a week. It's stupid and silly and petty, but like, I want some sports on right now. Why is there a week break before the championship rounds? I think that's stupid.
Yeah, because of TV rights, they have to schedule it way in advance. And so the playoffs would have started the finals would have started June 6th, regardless of how the other series turned out, because they have TV rights. And so those TV have to make sure all their series finales are done and all that other stuff.
Well, I changed the TV rights.
Right. Like, let's flex everything. So theoretically, like if other series had like gone to 7, then there would have only been a couple of days. But since Boston ended theirs in 4, Mavs ended theirs in 5, that's how we ended up with the whole week. But it's been scheduled to start this date for forever because of like the TV rights.
Well, I don't like it.
Change it, girl. You run this now. So you're going to be like, no.
I'm changing the TV rights, I guess.
Yeah,
that's possible as a GM or
You go,
owner.
this is your segment. You run all of it. Okay. You run Time Warner or whoever runs TV these days. And just like, look, 72 hours after the last game is played, we start the finals. Figure out your scheduling around that.
Something, man. Like, if this was baseball right now and the World Series game 1 was a week out, I'd be pissed. You know? Or like if the Blues were in the NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup, I gotta wait till Saturday to watch it. I'd be so nervous for a week.
I feel the same way about football. Like, there's basically 2 weeks between conference championships and the Super Bowl because
That's another one. Yeah.
they have the week break, but they also play like the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, ain't nobody trying to watch this. Just go ahead and play the Super Bowl.
Or speaking of the Super Bowl, I think Goodell said he'd be down to do this, but like have it be on a Saturday. Why do we have a Super Bowl game on Sunday? Everyone's getting trashed, and they got to go to work the next day. I had an interview for my new job the next day after the Super Bowl.
I would leave it I would leave it Sunday, but the Monday after the Super Bowl should be a federal holiday.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I think that about baseball too, though. I think opening day should be a holiday. Not just in St. Louis, but just in general. Like, every team starts play on this day, and everyone should be off of work.
Agreed.
I don't know.
I'm all for more holidays, so let's get a campaign going to make opening day and the day after the Super Bowl federal holidays. Shutter the doors and windows on all the shops. There's no work. There's no going outside. Everybody go to your local. Well, football will be over, so sleep off the hangover. And for opening day, go see your local team play. Like, that should be it.
Smooth said for WrestleMania as well.
People don't care about WrestleMania. But Joe, I was curious about this because you and I haven't talked in a while. Do you feel like the games have been better with the pitch clock? Like, now that we've settled into it, do you actually think it's improving the game experience to have it move a little bit faster?
I mean, maybe a little bit, but if you watch the Astros and Cardinals the last 2 days, today was fast. The last 2 days, though, it was the third inning, and we were like an hour and a half in. And it was because of long pitch counts, full counts, everyone fouling everything off, injuries, this and that. So that doesn't happen every time. But those are the games that like are super long, and I'm like, okay, come on, let's speed this up a little bit. But I mean, I think it's kind of in between. But you are seeing more injuries. I think that has something to do with it. And it was funny as we went to the Cardinals game with my mom, and she had no idea. She goes, "What is that?" She hadn't been to a Cardinals game in forever, and she was talking about the pitch clock. Like, that happened like 2 years ago. Like, like that's just what it is now. But I mean, I think it definitely moves the game on a little bit quicker. But you can still step off. You can still throw to first. And again, like with the games Monday and Tuesday, if you have teams that don't strike out a lot and they foul pitches off constantly, it doesn't matter anyways.
Yeah.
But fans seem to be okay with it.
Okay.
So that's that.
All right. Let me ask you this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me run this by you. You're the right person to talk this out with. So I proposed this to a friend who did not think this was a great idea. I thought it was brilliant. If I ran the MLB, there would be no such thing as a home run. If you hit the ball out of the park, it's basically the same thing as a foul. All balls have to be in play. That way there's movement the entire game. Baseball's so boring because there's only 2 people on the entire field who are doing anything. There's a pitcher and there's a batter, and maybe he's swinging, maybe he's not.
Whoa. The catcher's doing something every time.
He's putting his fingers out and he's like throwing up gang signs, and then he catches a ball. That's not exciting to watch. So it would be exciting if the ball had to be in play every single play. So somebody's got to do something.
You would have watched the Savannah Bananas.
I'll tell you this. The only 2 times I have ever enjoyed watching a baseball game was the Durham Bulls. I went one time. They're a minor league team. and the minor league team that's in Louisville. And because it's basically like a sketch comedy show with some baseball played in between. Like the whole thing is basically stunts and puppy races and people dressed up as vegetables running around. And occasionally they throw some pitches and play baseball. But those were the most entertaining because regular baseball is so incredibly boring because you only are seeing either someone throw a ball or someone hit it out the park. So no home runs unless it's an inside the park home run, but every ball has to fall in play and then everybody has to move and do something.
So you're saying if Otani hits a moonshot 450, that's just a foul ball.
Yep.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Tell him to keep doing that. Tell him to find a way to hit it. What? Like 200 would still be inside the park?
But well, I mean, 400 in some parks, you know.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, is the game's changed so much is that everyone's focused on launch angles. So now you're having pitchers change their mechanics of trying to rush their, you know, of them throwing the pitch in a certain amount of seconds. The shortstop can't shift this way; they got to stay here. So you're switching everything, and now you're telling a batter that, hey, no more launch angle, just hit line drives. Jordan Walker would be the best guy on the Cardinals team, best player on the Cardinals team right now. He wouldn't be in the minors if that was the rules.
I love this for them, for all of them. You know what has to happen in basketball? You switch up your defenses. You move your feet. You know what happens in football? You switch up your defenses. You suss out what's about to happen. You change your stunt or wherever you're going to bring pressure, and you make it happen. Baseball needs to do the same thing. I want them to, within 30 seconds, decide what they need to do, and the ball has to fall in play. And everybody has to move at some point. Miss Williams is not feeling this.
Yeah,
I just want to see more activity in baseball. It's so boring. Only 2 people get to do stuff.
You know, it just depends on the game and the batter, the pitcher. Like Sunday Night Baseball, Lance Lynn threw 5 innings, and there was a bunt base hit, bloop base hit, score 2 runs. Like 5
exactly.
pitches.
No home runs.
I know, but it happened so fast, and like,
see, you're just describing the type of game we would have with my rule change.
But no one pays money with $50 parking, however much money for tickets, one beer. I got 2 beers and a water, and it was like $30-something. No one's paying that.
Time to drink $30 worth of liquids. But here's the thing: I'm saving you money. You wouldn't have time to drink $30 worth of liquids because the game would go much faster if the ball had to be in play all the time. You would get through beer 1, and it would be.
I'm not driving downtown then. I'm not spending my money. I'm not driving downtown to watch. No, for real. Savannah Bananas, though, it is. If you hit a foul ball or you hit it a home run and a fan catches it, it's an out. Like the fan catch, it's an out. And then Smooth. I don't know if you have time to look it up real quick. There's a glow in the dark baseball league that they just recently started.
Ooh.
It's actually pretty cool looking. I don't know how it would mess with your eyes. Because, I mean, the ball is glowing.
I have a question, though.
Yeah.
Are the pants still see-through in the Play in the Dark Baseball League? Because if I can't have see-through pants, I don't know if I want it, first of all.
You know, I've only seen one video of it. It was from a behind the plate view, so I'm not positive.
Okay. So we need some investigative journalism to see if they are working with the same pants manufacturers as the MLB. But I love this Savannah Bananas rule. I will now add, if you hit a home run, if a fan of the team who hit it catches it,
girl, you're getting too crazy.
They get to keep it, and it gets scored as a home run. But if a fan catches it, that's not the team that hit the ball, they can throw it back in play. And then the player still has to try to run some bases. So the fan has the opportunity to put the ball back in play and not be like you get a home run.
This is like baseball in 2060 something. Here we go.
It could be tomorrow if you make me the.
Watch this.
Ooh, okay. Here's the thing. My eyesight is so bad I couldn't play this sport. I couldn't watch this sport. I couldn't coach this sport. I couldn't do anything with this sport. I wouldn't even be able to see it at
That's
all.
what I'm saying. It's like your eyes focusing on just, it's all dark and you see all these bright stuff all over the place. And then you see just this blown up ball. I wonder what it's like after the black lights turn off. You know, like, is your eyesight all messed up afterwards? Looks dope though.
Look, see the way my astigmatism is set up, I barely see tail lights when I'm driving at night. So it would just look like a bunch of just fuzzy ball, glow pink clouds flying around. Nothing would have an actual shape of a ball or a bat, the way my eyes are set up. So I would love it to I love that it's happening, and I would have no chance at being a part of a league like this at all.
Like, I don't even know if I could go and watch it. Like, it might bother my eyes if I sat there and watched a 9-inning game of glow-in-the-dark baseball, but just seeing that clip, I'm in. It looks cool.
It did look cool. I'm here for it. What would we need to do to get the MLB to have some glow-in-the-dark uniforms? Because I would like for their, since the games are so long and they start while it's daytime and don't end until it's nighttime, they should have uniforms that like change color as it gets darker, where by the time it gets to the nighttime, it's now glow in the dark. I'm really improving the MLB here. I'm glad we can work it out.
You took away the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball.
Back if the fan who caught it was of the team who hit it. So I put it back.
That's so confusing. As a fan, you would have to check have your ticket scanned in, and then like a thing of rules right there to try to be like, all right.
Confusing. It's my team hit the ball. If I catch it, I get to keep it, and they get to keep the point. If the team that I'm rooting against hit it and I caught it, I'm gonna throw it back and play and help my team. So it's not that confusing.
You and Buddy need it. You and Buddy
throw it back if it's your team. You could be like, look, I don't want my team to score a home run. I'm gonna throw it back and play anyway. But
and then you're banned from the stadium forever.
No. Fans would have the option to just throw the ball back and play whenever.
Well, you and Bunny disagree on a lot of things, but you guys can get together and try to fix the MLB because she thinks all the same things, that baseball's too long and yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. Even though soccer's like a 12-month thing. So
yeah. I think the other ways in which baseball has brought the world together, and I haven't seen you since this happened, was the retiring of Angel Hernandez as a referee.
Oh, I didn't put that on my freaking in my cup. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Baseball brings the world together. Look at that.
That was like the first time since the Players Association and the MLB that they like, okay, we're not gonna have a strike. That was like the first time since then that everyone in Major League Baseball came together as one and all agreed on one thing.
We did.
It was beautiful. Bye, Angel Hernandez. You were awful at your game, at your job, and yeah, the game's better because of it. So I think that's all MLB needs to do this year. This year,
or whatever's in your cup. People at home, pour one out to Angel Hernandez.
Oh man, he was so bad at his job. So thank you for reminding me of that because I completely forgot.
You're welcome. Baseball brings us together.
Yep. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, Annie, you have anything else that's on your mind sports related?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me on tonight. It was great to catch up about so many different things, and I'll see you the next time.
Yeah, I had a good. I'm be honest, I was a little nervous because there wasn't much baseball or hockey on the list, to talk about. But I had fun. I learned some new stuff. I like learning new things about sports that I'm not familiar with. And looks like we'll have to come back to the video to see who has to do what if who wins, because I don't even know anymore. I don't even know. I probably made some bet that I'm going to regret for the rest of my life. Who knows?
You have to eat Emo's pizza if something wins. Yeah. And that is not the prize you think it is. Tell baby girl have fun at the beach with her refined and discerning taste. Enjoy your vacation. And I hope
Thank
everybody else is getting out this summer. Go see a baseball game. Go out and catch some women's football. Summer's the time where hopefully you're kicking back a little bit, and it's a great time to get out and catch some sports that you may not see otherwise when we're so NFL dominant.
I had one more question, non-sports related.
Yes.
Are there cicadas in Florida?
I haven't seen any where I'm at. They're probably going to be close to where you are, because where you are, where you will be, because that's like 45 minutes south of Alabama and like swamp territory.
Well, hopefully they'll be dead by then.
Maybe, yeah, it may be too hot by then. You may be fine.
Oh
Just
man, I hate
don't
going
Google
outside
any
right now.
videos about it.
Okay. All right. Oh man, I hate them so much. They don't bite or anything. They're just freaking disgusting. All right.
Agreed.
Okay, that was my last question.
All
Let's
right.
get these promos one more time. This is Ladies Night every first Wednesday of the month. You can find us on Instagram at the Platform Sports Talk Show, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter. If you have any questions or you have a suggestion for a guest, go ahead and send us an email at platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. You can find us at Roku once the show's over, and Hot 365 Radio. And the big one, again, is YouTube at the Platform Sports Talk Show. Make sure you subscribe and click on that bell, because anytime we go live, you will be notified. I did mention with the Hot 365 Radio, that is on twitch.com. And we do have the Man Cave every last Wednesday of the month. And then the Wednesdays in between there, you can see our producer's face, Smoooth, and everyone else just at the platformsportstalkshow.com. And again, the Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Hot365 Radio. Annie, thank you for joining the show. It was good catching up, good topics, and everyone else, have a great rest of the week. Bye.
Have a good night, everybody. Don't forget to put your 929 on Russell Wilson taking the Steelers to the Super Bowl.